Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
It is now 12 hours 12 in Guyana. Welcome to your news at noon for Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. I'm Kevin Smith. Hess Corporation's CEO John Hess has once again explained just how crucial Guyana's oil resources are to its balance sheet and longevity. On the backs of two oil vessels, specifically the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity, Hess said the company was able to pay back its $500 million loan, increase its dividend by 50%, and begin the repurchasing of $650 million worth of shares this year. On June 30th, Hess said that the company had $2.2 billion cash on the balance sheet, and to manage oil price volatility, it has hedged approximately 150,000 barrels of oil per day of its oil production for 2022. This is to ensure it takes full coverage and should be full advantage of its high oil price environment. And as Guyanese continue to call for an updated feasibility study for the gas-to-energy project, one advocate has stated that the importance of the government being transparent with the deal, especially since the cost will be deducted from the oil revenues. Transparency advocate Dr. Yog Mahadio underlined the necessity of the deal being made public. According to the 2016 PSA Guyana signed with ExxonMobil, the cost to develop the gas project will be deductible from cost oil. This means that Guyana will pay for the project through its oil earnings, which ExxonMobil will deduct upfront. Just last week, we reported the views of three stakeholders who expressed the need for the contract to be made public before the government attaches its signature. And the High Court has granted an extension of time to the legal team for Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal to file submissions in the case which challenges the government's tax waiver to ExxonMobil subsidiary Esso and its affiliates. Lal is seeking to overturn the expansive tax provisions granted by the government to the oil companies as part of the PSA for oil drilling exploration in the Stabroek Block. His main contention is that the provisions of the agreement violate the Petroleum Act by purporting to extend production sharing concessions to persons other than those licensed. Meanwhile, the Bank of Guyana mid-year report has recorded a significant dip in the number of persons in the employ of the state, particularly within the central government. The central bank highlighted that public sector employment fell by 10.9% at the end of June 2022, and a sharp decline from the marginal drop of 0.4% was recorded for the same period last year. This position reflected lower employment within the central government by 17.7%, while employment within the rest of the public sector increased by 4.3%, the bank highlighted. And in other news, 50 million people were living in modern slavery in 2021, according to the latest global estimates of modern slavery, the International Labour Organization, or ILO, has said. Of these people, 28 million were forced labor and 22 million were trapped in forced marriage, according to the ILO. The number of people in modern slavery has risen significantly in the last 5 years. 10 million more people were in modern slavery in 2021 compared to 2016 global estimates. Women and children remain disproportionately vulnerable. Modern slavery occurs in almost every country in the world and cuts across ethnic, cultural, and religious lines. And now let's tell you, at least one family was left homeless on Sunday after a fire ripped through a sea view or sea dam and a Katerina West Coast Demerara house and a nearby furniture store, causing damage to two other houses in the process. According to information released by the Guyana Fire Service, at around 21 hours 43 on Sunday, the Lenora Fire Station received a call for help to put out a fire at a house at Anna Katerina Sea Dam. Upon arrival, the Guyana Fire Service revealed that its ranks observed a one-flat wooden and concrete house engulfed in flames. The fire, said to be of electrical origin, destroyed the house completely, which is owned by 38-year-old Ravindra Balkisoon. The fire not only left Balkisoon and 3 family members homeless, but also destroyed a furniture store he operated next door to his house. You listen to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll take a short break and return with your news.
Child sexual abuse can stay with a person for life. It can rob them of their childhood. It's an unforgivable, unforgettable, despicable act. And yet, children suffer this abuse every day. During these times, we must keep a watch out for children. If you suspect child abuse, report it to the police without delay or call the CPA hotline on 227-0979. Protect children now.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Guyanese working in the oil and gas sector here will be meeting with officials from the Ministry of Labour next week as they continue to complain about poor working conditions and other issues. Both Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton and Chief Labour Officer Danishwar Dionarayan had invited affected workers to meet with ministry officials to highlight their grievances. President of the National Mines Workers Union of Guyana, Sherwin Downer, confirmed the meeting and noted that he will be accompanying the workers. The ministry had made a public announcement last week that all complaints regarding unfair work arrangements in the oil and gas sector should be reported officially to the government so that they could look into the matter. And the Ministry of Public Works expended $320 million to rehabilitate 2 pontoons on the Demerara Harbour Bridge in the first 6 months of 2022. This is according to the Ministry of Finance mid-year report. In the recently publicized document, it was explained that other related works will be carried out to ensure the safety of the structure in the second half of the year. The ministry did not say how much additional funds will be spent to maintain the floating bridge. Meanwhile, it was noted that works to construct the new Demerara River crossing are expected to commence in the second half of the year. And to wrap things up, the Health Ministry on Monday revealed via its daily dashboard within the last 24 hours, one new COVID-19 case has been recorded while 1 patient is admitted into the ICU. According to the dashboard data, 8 persons are in institutional isolation, 158 are in home isolation, and 2 are in institutional quarantine. And as usual, we wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Classless. When one thought that the refusal of Leader of the Opposition Aubrey Norton to shake the hands of President Irfaan Ali was low, the latter's behavior toward a citizen of this country at a meeting at Makkah Arcadia on Sunday was simply classless. The display by the head of state at the forum in the full view of school children who only a few minutes earlier had strung garlands around his neck as he was welcomed into their village is simply unbelievable. No tact, no grace, no class, and yet we have supporters hailing such conduct as acceptable. In addition, 2 young government ministers were seen cheering the Guyanese leader on, one laughing her head off as he puffed his chest and shouted at the local NDC leader. Such a shame. It is not the first time that we have seen this sort of behavior from our young president. One would recall how he handled a woman in Bartica at a public meeting who dared to ask him about his country's oil blocks, and then his public belittling of the president of GAU at the Emo Martyrs rally, simply because the piss-poor management of the beleaguered Guyana Sugar Corporation was called into question. If these early signs from the president are anything to go by, then can't eat with dinner in Guyana. And that wraps things up for today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.